Bang, these knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara is at work, and today we are going to check out my top 10 favorite little knives. And being little, I'm considering them under 3 inches. We do have quite a bit of under 3 inch blades and also right at 3 inch. I tried to take anything that's right at 3 inches and take them out, so that kind of crossed them off the list. I do have a couple honorable mentions, and this one is not an honorable mention. This is definitely one of them. I love the ergos of this thing. It just kind of locks you, and you can't hold it back here, but right there, I mean, it melts right in your hand. It just sits perfect. It's a little pocket razor. And one thing I really like about it is that you can middle finger flick it, and it is real easy. The flipper tab works really easy. It's fun to fidget with, and it works really good, and it's got an actual finger choil. Love it, love it, love it. This is the Best Tech Goblin. Oh, right there, Goblin. S35 VN and carbon fiber and titanium. Very, very cool. And that's an anodized clip. Next up is another one that I found out you can middle finger flick right off of that little fuller. This is the Tucson TS158 CF. CF for carbon fiber and titanium. This is a Wong design, and it's M390. And man, Tucson just does a heck of a job with giving you great quality knives, great fit and finish, beautiful edge geometry, which I'm really getting into lately. Not saying there's not a place for, hard use knives and knives that are pretty thick behind the edge. There's a place for those. But for EDC knives, and especially knives under 3 inches, they should be precision cutters. That's something you're going to want to be able to pick splinters out with. That's going to be something you're going to want to, be able to use as easily as possible and pass through materials as easily as possible, especially since you're not going to usually have, great ergos. Even if it has good ergos, it's not something that, you're getting, it's not something like this. Where you just got a massive grip and you can put all your weight into it. It's something that needs to go through materials very easily. And this thing is really cool. I like it. All right. I'm going to throw in an honorable mention. And this is not a locking knife. That's why it's an honorable mention. This is a slip joint. And this was sent to us by Alien Knives. This was his first knife ever that he made. And it says a lot. And now he's made frame locks. He's making other slip joints. He's doing a remarkable job, and I really wish you guys would go check him out on Instagram and look at what he's doing. See what he's doing. He's doing a great job, and he deserves our attention. And he's going places. He's definitely going places. And before you know it, he's gonna be a top contender out here. Very cool knife. I think this is 1080p. I think that's what the steel is, and then G10. And I can totally manipulate it with one hand. But for a first knife, it's amazing. And it also comes with a sheath. And I know this isn't something you guys can get. At least, I don't know. He might actually sell these. I just know this was his first one. So, all right. Now, this one is not an honorable mention, but really good knife. This is the Wee Vapor. This is another one with great edge geometry. It does give you a small finger choil, but it has really good ergos, whether you're back here or right there. I like it right there. Very, very nice tip. I mean, that tip, just the whole blade stock is super thin. I mean, Wee does a really good job with blade geometry. And this little hole you can't use. That's my one complaint, but you can pinch it and roll it out. Very, very crisp detent. If you've ever had a Wii or a Civivi, man, they got great detents. Easy access to the lock bar. The pocket clip works very well, especially for a titanium clip. Very nice. This is expensive though. I mean, it's titanium, carbon fiber, all T8s, and yeah, it's a great knife. Okay, let's see here. Now, these two, I'm just going to pop these out so we don't have to spend too much time. This is a Ferrum Forge Mini Archbishop. This is also made by We. I love the clip on this thing, man. This clip is just amazing, since it has so much easy access in and out of the pocket with great tension. Yeah, another great one with a great detent, carbon fiber. This is stainless steel and 9CR 18 MOV. This one needs no introduction. This is the Benchmade Griptilian with the sheep's foot blade. You guys know I love that sheep's foot blade. It still upsets me that they took the hollow grind out. This one's the S30V. And yeah, I really like it. It's just a very good usable blade. You can, it's a really good EDC blade shape. Works really good for lots of tasks. Now this one's an honorable mention. This is the Kaiser Yorkie. I'm positive that this would be one of Kara's top 10. She absolutely loves it. I don't get to use it enough, but I can respect how good of a knife it is, especially for a knife with such a short blade shape. The blade geometry, it's not the greatest, but it's a beautiful blade shape, works really good, and it does work good for EDC. And this is a specified finish, so if you ever want some really good anal work, check him out. He's doing great work. This one is, it might as well be 3 inches. I mean, it's like a 16th under 3 inches. So I figured I'd throw it in here since it is just under 3 inches. And I do really like it. It's not on bearings. It is on phosphor bronze, which I like it, especially for a work knife. It has great blade geometry, great blade shape. I mean, this is just a very useful, all-around good blade shape. You can put your finger up there, but it's made for a sharpening choil. Easy access to the lock bar, and this, I did rough this my micarta scales up. This is the snakeskin micarta. I did rough them up, and I am happier with them. I could sorry, I'm saying so much. I could probably rough them up a little tiny smidgen more, but I'm a lot happier than I was with it, because before it just seemed like it was so glossy. Now it's definitely a lot better, and I do enjoy this knife. It's just a great user, you know. Okay, now this is one of my favorites, if not my favorite out of all of these. I love the AceBiblio. It is just under 3 inches. The finger choil is not really big, but you can get the first nub of your pointer finger up there. But the ergos are great. Decent blade geometry, great blade shape. I love that teardrop leaf shape with the finger hole. This one has great action now. It's just one that will hold up through time and through hard use. The clip works great. Gotta love them wire clips. I know they don't look the best, but they definitely work very well. This one is a Medford Heiress, which is really cool. And I know it's a small little knife. It's only a little 3-finger knife. And the clip sucks, but it's just built so tough. You know, you can feel how solid it is. And even though it's not crazy thin behind the edge for being a hollow grind, it's still a good slicer. And it's, you know, you can sharpen it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's something that's not going to keep getting crazy thick every time you sharpen it. But it's a nice little useful blade shape. I mean, it does have a lot of belly for my preference. But since it's small, it's not bad with belly, because belly's not that bad with a little knife, even though I do prefer, you know, a nice tip with my little knives. But what's cool about it being little is that you can get to the tip real easily and still get leverage, because you're not, you know, a foot away from where the tip's going to be. You're right there with the tip, and you can use, you know, the strength of your arm really good. You can hold it sideways. Like, there's just a lot more benefits to a belly for me, for my purposes, and what I do with a knife. on a day-to-day basis, you know, and obviously I'm not talking about if I go hunting or if I'm at work. I'm just talking about EDC use. A little knife with a belly does work really good. And that's followed up with the belly for days. This is the Viper Lily in M390. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, this is in D2. But Medford does a great job with their D2. This is the Viper Lily in M390. It does a Vox design. And this thing, this is my favorite knife with belly. I mean, one, you can use it very easily. Just like how I was just explaining with that knife. I mean, you can use the belly, you can use the tip, and it's very ergonomic for such a little knife. And I love being able to use the knife just like that I can use it. And it does have decent blade geometry because it's not a crazy thick blade stock. I mean, it's a decently thick, like it's a strong blade stock. But it has so much taper that it gets down to a really nice crispy edge. And it's just got it set up where you can manipulate it so easily. I really like that, especially for a little knife. It is definitely a fidget knife. You can use it in every way. The thumb flick, the thumbs, they all are very satisfying deployments. And yeah, and the clip works pretty decent. Doesn't give you a lot of room under there, but still a decent clip. Works in jeans. Okay, last two. Bang. The little Strider PT. Man, this thing is so useful. Great blade shape. That blade shape is just amazing. I'd really like to try out a full-size Strider because this thing, just with this little one like that, man, that just melts in your hand. The jimping works really good. I love this blade shape, and now that I've reground the blade a little bit, it's a tiny bit thinner behind the edge. Not very much, but I at least took off a couple thousandth, and I do love this knife. It has great action. It is an auto. This is 154 CM, and this is the ProTech PT Strider collab, and beautiful pocket clip. They also work very well because the screws and everything are nice and flush. Okay, now none of these were in any particular order. There was no top one or anything. These are just all my top favorites, and I already said this one was probably my favorite. But this one is the Kaiser Fire S35VN with Kara's anno work on the titanium. I'm sure she's eventually going to redo it. She likes it though, so I mean, hell, she's the one who uses this the most, but I appreciate this one. I have the bigger version, which would be the Kaiser Rogue, which is also a Dirk Pinkerton design. You can see his little logo right there. And yeah, it's a great knife. I really like this knife. It's good action. I like the access to the lock bar. It doesn't have a lot of access to the lock bar, but it's got that little cutout right there. And since it's not a big knife and it's not going to have crazy lock pressure, it's not really too sharp. It works perfect. Good ergos for such a small knife. I mean, great ergos. Good blade shape. It's a great blade shape for EDC. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and see you in the next video.